Personnel selected, Dave, toy restoration expert and YouTuber. Channel codename toy-polloi.
Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi, and in today's video we're going to be looking at restoring this vintage M.A.S.K firecracker box. Now if you watch my channel regularly you'll have seen that recently, very kindly, Christopher and Courtney sent me this boxed firecracker from M.A.S.K. The toy itself is really in very nice condition. It's been played with a lot, some of the chrome is missing and there's a few little bits of damage, but overall it's a really nice vehicle and certainly would look great on display. But the box it came with, as you can see, has seen better days. In fact, you can't actually get it to sort of shut up or sort of close up because everything about it is falling apart. And many people commented on that video saying, why don't I do a box restoration and see what we can do with this box? So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So let's take a closer look at the box and see what's up with it. It did come with the instructions as well. Those aren't in too bad condition, a little bit of wear and tear to them, but overall they look very nice, so we can just put those to the side. But the box, as you can see, really has seen better days. I'm guessing it's just sort of been stored away and yeah, just sort of generally got damaged over time. It doesn't actually shut properly because it's sort of so squashed and distorted, so if you try and shut the flaps it just doesn't want to do anything. It's really very crushed. There's lots of tears all over. You can see the corners are very torn up like that, and there's tears over here. There's sticky tape on it, so you can see here's bits of sellotape stuck over areas and bits of masking tape on this side. And generally, yeah, it's not very flat, it's not very square, it's in quite a sorry state. I think we can probably do something with it. I have to say it's probably one of the worst boxes I've ever tried to fix up, but I believe we can probably do something with it. There's actually quite a big tear here on the front I hadn't noticed. You can see that it's torn all the way along here. There's a tear going on. I'm not sure if it's torn quite the way through. It doesn't look like it has, so I've got to repair that as well. So yeah, generally it's in a very sorry state and not really that displayable at the moment. So today we'll see what we can do. First thing though I think we need to do is actually to split this box apart so we can start cleaning it. It's just got a glue line along this edge here. There's actually a bit of sellotape as well I can see stuck over that. So I'm going to very carefully cut along this line, cut the glue so that we can flatten this out. Once it's flatter, it will be a whole lot easier to work on. We can give it a clean and then we can start trying to fix some of the other issues. This first step does feel like a bit of a step backwards, but it will just make tidying up the rest of the box a lot easier. So we can see here that it's been glued along this edge. We've got a fold, and if we look inside you can see there's a lip that has been glued down, and what we've got to do is sort of break the glue along that entire length, and then we can flatten this box out and start dealing with it. So I'm very carefully going to take this knife and go all the way along, just sort of cutting the glue, doing little bits at a time until we can get this edge apart. I don't want to damage the cardboard sort of too much. I will damage it a little bit, but I should be able to sort of cut the glue. It's going to take me 5 or so minutes to do this, but it will be worth the effort. Okay, so now the box is flat. I say flat, it's in one piece, but so you can see it's still really quite bobbly, but we'll sort that out later on. Now that it's flat though, we can actually give it a bit of a clean. You can see there's lots of tape residue here, there's other bits of tape stuck on, other dirty marks. And what we're going to do is remove those using lighter fluid. This is a great way of removing old sticky tape. I've shown it in many of my videos and it's my sort of go-to treatment for all things like this. Lighter fluid is pretty cheap. A tin like this costs about £2 and it goes a long way. Lots of people always ask, does it smell? It has a little bit of a smell to it, but it evaporates very quickly. And the other question I get asked a lot is, does it make the cardboard flammable? While it's wet, yes, but as soon as it's evaporated off, then it will be back to just being normal card. So as flammable as normal card is. But it doesn't leave any sort of marks, and as I say, it will very nicely remove all of these bits of sticky tape residue. So you need this, and you need some kitchen towel, and just be very patient and work your way around the box until you've removed all the marks that you can. Okay, so that's gone really well. It's a case of just going slow with it. You don't want to rush pulling the tape off because that's when you start to rip the cardboard. And with this, it's been tape on top of tape. In fact, you can see just here, this is a sort of a small amount of the tape that I've removed. Quite a lot of it is very old. There's bits of masking tape, there's bits of sellotape, all stuck on top of each other. So you just have to remove one piece at a time and then gently clean the surface underneath. And I'm really quite happy with how this is looking. As you can see, the lighter fluid does soak into the card a bit, but all you've got to do is wait sort of half an hour. That will evaporate out and then we'll just be left with the card, and then we can get on with trying to sort of flatten this a bit and making the shape look a whole lot better. For flattening the box, I use an iron set to a medium heat, place the box between two tea towels and then very gently iron over the surface. Just go slow when doing this, make sure that nothing is sort of folded in the wrong way, and keep reheating the same area to warm up the cardboard. You'll find that within a few minutes the cardboard is starting to lie flat. You don't need to spray any water or anything on it, just the fact that you're heating the cardboard is enough for it to start to reshape and reform. You'll find that as you do this process over the whole box, it will start to look a whole lot better. I spent about 10 minutes ironing this box and working my way over each surface and each flap, carefully sort of flattening them, and I ended up with a really nice result. And this is how it's looking now. As you can see, it is a lot flatter. There's still a few creases and that, but the overall effect is it's really looking very nice, and it's certainly feeling a lot better. I've already started making some sort of repairs on this, because actually once I'd taken all of the sticky tape off, there was a very nasty rip along here, and I was really worried that it was going to rip further. So I've already repaired this area, and that is now nice and firmly held back together. So I'll be doing the same process that I did on this bit on the rest of the box, because as we can see, there are lots of tears and breaks. So what I do for that is on the back side of this, if I turn the box over, you'll see I've reinforced where it was torn using gummed paper tape. This is very useful stuff to work with. So it's brown tape with a water activated gum on the back of it. So you just have to put a little bit of water on that, and it becomes very sticky. You then just cut off small lengths of this. I will be doing this again on some of these other tears. You can see here that this flap is starting to come away. It's actually quite torn there. So I'll reinforce all of that flap with some gummed tape. I'll do every other rip that's on the back of this, and then I'll be turning the box back over once that tape has had time to set. And then I'm going to be using this, which is EVA glue. This is like PVA glue, but it is the acid-free version of PVA glue. And I will use a small brush to carefully push this under the edges where things have ripped up. So if I show you a rip here, you can see if I put the tape on the other side of this, hold it together, I can then push in the EVA glue under the edge of that and stick it down, and we'll hold it, let it all dry off. And that should really reinforce this box well. I've covered this in quite a few videos over the years, so I'll put some links at the end of this to some of my other box repair videos. It's a fairly straightforward process. It takes quite a lot of time because you do have to wait for things to dry. Putting this tape on, you need to let the glue set again, so you have to let the tape dry out quite nicely. And then putting this EVA glue on, it takes a few hours to dry, but once it does dry, you end up with a very, very firm sort of repair. So you can see here, this repair is really very strong. There was a tear all the way along that, and now it's really nice. It makes the box feel a whole lot firmer. So I'm going to get on and I'll do all of the repairs on this box, which may take me a few hours to do, and I may end up leaving it, letting it dry overnight and coming back to do some final repairs, just because there are so many of these tears. You can see here, this is quite a bad one. So I'll just get on with that and we'll see how it looks at the end. Okay, well that is all done. All the glue has had time to dry, and I've now got a box that is looking, you know, a whole lot better than it started with. It's never going to be a perfect box, but I think it's looking a lot better, and it feels so much sturdier now. There's no rips along these edges. Everything is held together really quite nicely, and you can actually move this card around without feeling like you're going to tear off part of it. If I turn it over, we can take a look at the back. You can see there's a lot of repairs going on. All of this is going to be hidden inside the box, so I'm not worried what this looks like. I wanted it to be nice and strong, and I think it really is. Now we can go ahead and reattach the sort of two pieces back together. Two pieces, I mean one piece. Basically, I've got to put glue along this edge. So I'm going to be using some of the EVA glue. I will just paint that along the edge, and then I will carefully line this up and stick that back in place and let that glue set really for quite a long time, because I want this to be a firm fixing. I will probably put some weights and stuff inside it to hold everything down, and maybe clip the ends. Once that's dry, we can then construct the box again and see how it looks. The glue has now had time to dry overnight, and it feels really quite firm, so we can now fold this box back and put the flaps in and see how it looks. So let's put that one in there. That feels good. Do the same at the other end, like so. And there we go, that's the box back together. As I say, it's never going to look perfect, but the overall effect is pretty good. It's a nice square box. It feels very solid. There's no sort of give to any of these sides anymore. So yeah, it's certainly going to look quite nice on display. You can see still there's sort of marks around the edges and bits of wear, but it is a box and it is very displayable. And that's really what I wanted to go for with this. I knew it would never be a perfect looking box, but I wanted something that would actually display quite nicely and sort of show the age and wear of what's happened to it, and I think this does the job. And so that's it for this video. I've managed to take what was a very battered and undisplayable box and turn it into something that actually looks really quite nice. As you can see here with the Firecracker and Hondo Maclean standing in front of it, it really looks very nice indeed. And certainly when I put it on display here at toy-polloi, this is how I will display it, with the box in the background. Even though it's still a bit battered and worn, it looks really quite nice, and I like the fact it has some age to it, because the toy itself has a few little bits of damage and wear and tear to it, as I showed you right at the start of the video. Overall, this looked really very nice, and as you can see, with a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, you can actually make something that would otherwise be thrown in the bin look quite nice and quite displayable. If you've enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos. You can also follow toy-polloi on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.